So here's some things that I want to talk about, right, chat? Like, Natlan has probably one of the most hated region ever in Genshin Impact, but I kind of want to explore more about why that is. Because a lot of people say Natlan is bad, but like, why is it bad? There's like many different reasons. For me, I just don't feel like Natlan is the big thing because it's just not what I expected. I expected a nation of war, not a nation of Pokemon. That's just my personal opinion on it, right? So let's see. There's a video by Cole here, and he sort of delved deeper into why Natlan became the Genshin's most hated region, and I'm just curious to see what his take on it and like what is the overall community's take on it. But yeah, let's take a look at it.
Hey, so what's your favorite region? Oh, it's actually Natlan. all right, seriously, what's your favorite region? No, I'm being for real. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Natlan cannot be your favorite region. It's impossible.
Today, friends, we're going to be talking about the popular, well, infamous region called Natlan. Now, a lot of people hated this region, and I mean hate, they loathe this region. I mean, they absolutely despise it with everything in their heart. I mean, people are pre-registering their hatred for Natlan before it even came out.
To a certain extent, chat, I feel like Natlan hate became a bandwagon, It's popular to hate on Natlan, so we just all hate on it without like any proper reason. But yeah, let's see what this guy have to say about it.
Which is mighty impressive, I must say. And also, if they could remove any region from this game, it would be Natlan. I mean, they want this region completely redone. They absolutely hated it. But before we go into the reasons, many reasons why people dislike Natlan,
music,
I'm going to give a quick little
Genshin music always is always good.
A bunch of what I'm going to say is just going to be people's opinions that I've seen online because I am severely chronically online and I am almost always online. I mean, if you check my screen time on my phone, you would be mildly concerned. You would look at my phone, look back at me, look back at my phone, and then just walk away and have your entire
peak unemployment, just like me, for real.
Created already. Anyways, I also want to say that if you like Natlan, there's nothing wrong with that, and do not take any of this to heart. This is just a bunch of people's opinion online, and it shouldn't reflect your opinion of Natlan itself.
That's fair. A gacha game music in general is goated. That is correct. So because the thing is, right, chat, gacha games music and design and environment have to be goated. Otherwise, no one plays their game. You guys should actually watch my video on why gacha exploration is trash, where I react to Gacha Smack, just speaking about why gacha exploration actually doesn't work in a gacha game, and we delve deeper into why it's actually bad compared to like Elden Ring exploration, Zelda exploration, and all those games.
If you like it, go ahead, by all means, love it, enjoy it, fight against people in comments. Actually, don't do that, but well, I do it too. Actually, no, you get what I mean. But either way, this is just people's opinions online, and of course, if you like Natlan, go ahead and like Natlan.
Yep.
But I'm just going to be highlighting the main reasons of what I've personally seen that people dislike the region for. So let's get right into the video. Starting off with the most prominent and obvious reason, diversity. Now, this has been an ongoing issue.
Okay, to be fair, chat, this is like generally no one give a shit, bro. Like, to me, I don't really give a shit. Honestly, like this is not a big fucking deal, bro. Like diversity. Sorry, the character isn't black enough, bro. This is a game made by Chinese people, alright?
For a while, as players were always complaining about the diversity and lack of representation in Genshin. And
I mean, to be fair, we have Kea, right? Yeah, and bro, nobody fucking cares about diversity. To be honest with you, like this isn't that much of an effect, at least like to most people.
This has been an ongoing problem since Sumeru. When Sumeru came out, people were expecting characters to have darker skin tone or at least more of a tan.
I mean, we got Daya. What's wrong with Daya? Daya have a dark skin tone.
But players only received 2 characters like Sino and Daya with darker skin tone, and Candice as well, so sorry, 3 characters, and that wasn't enough since majority of the characters had white skin or paler skin, and players didn't really see the diversity or representation that they were hoping and expecting from this region. So a lot of players took to social media to say, oh, just wait for Natlan, there'll be darker characters then. And
you know what's ironic, chat? Like, here's the thing, chat. I've lived in the Middle East for like a good amount of 6 years of my life, right? What they don't understand is that a lot of Middle Eastern people, like a lot of like our Arab people, are actually not black. They are actually like, most of them, it's like 30 to 40% like sort of pale skin color, and like there's another like 30% which is like have a brownish skin tone, like actually perfectly Daya skin tone, to be honest with you. And then like the other percentage is like well, that's like where the darker skin tone sort of comes from. But majority from the people that I've seen, they are not that dark. It's like in the Middle East, chat, like in the Arab countries, they are actually not that dark, skin tone. They are actually mostly like there's pale, there's a lot of actually pale skin tone people in the Arab countries.
When Natlan came around, there wasn't that many darker characters. There was a lot of characters with whiter skin and not a lot of characters with melanin, and players were really mad about this as they were expecting more representation into the game.
I mean, to be fair, Chad, I think they were expecting something like this. Let me find it, bro. Chad, they expected the Genshin character to be like this. This is what they mean as diversity, bro. Okay, this is what they expect. I mean, come on. I think that's a meme. Yeah, but yeah, it's a meme. But this is still like, there's still truth to this. If you're not chronically online as me back then, okay, like, bro, I've seen people in the Genshin community make the little characters like black, like legit black color. Not this is like brown, right? When I'm talking about black color, okay, they literally did like, oh my, what the fuck is this? Anyway, case to point. Let's continue on.
People were also mentioning characters like Yansan, and when people did a color analysis on her skin, it mainly came out gray with her skin tone.
This is just people nitpicking and they're being a fucking
this region
pussy.
already started
They're just being
with
soft as fuck.
bad start, and players also complained about the NPCs as they were called stereotypical or they just didn't have enough representation, and there was a lot of hate when the region first came out. So this already had the region off to a rocky start. So that is just one of the obvious regions. Now let's go to my next point, which is expectations. Now, when Natlan first dropped, players had such high hopes for this, considering the last region we explored or finished was Fontaine. Now, Fontaine was one of the most groundbreaking regions in Genshin, and players absolutely loved it. The story was great, the characters were great, the writing was just overall great, the region itself was beautiful. So
I agree. I think Fontaine was pretty good, and the story was actually really good.
Obviously, when expectations are too high, gonna leave room for disappointment, and that's exactly what Natlan got. Now, Natlan,
and honestly, Chad, the Fontaine city was actually goated. I ain't gonna lie. I just realized that. When you guys first got into the city, right? The big architecture, it looks beautiful. And then like when I see Natlan, it's like it's small, it's tiny. I don't know. It feels lacking. Okay, Fontaine was good, but let's be honest, Chad, the underwater mechanic is trash, bro. The underwater mechanic that they made is probably the most boring I've ever seen. Like, you are literally whipping a fish. What's fun in that?
Water exploration, and created this whole beautiful world underground, and players absolutely loved the exploration, and players absolutely loved it. So when Natlan rolled around, players were...
Wait, people actually like the underwater exploration? It was trash in my opinion.
Kinda expecting more from the region, which I'll get into more on the little issues that I've
Except
seen with the
combat.
region.
Yeah, the combat is like 90% of the underwater
when expectations are high,
experience.
It leaves a lot of room for disappointment, which is why I think Natlan did so bad, is because of the expectations that Fontaine set. But of course, let me know your opinion on Fontaine, and let me know if you think expectations were part of the reason why Natlan did so bad. Now let's talk about the characters itself. Now, from what I've seen, it was mainly a 50-50, well, not even a 50-50, I think it was a 60.
Can we just appreciate, Chad? Can we just appreciate how hot she is?
Well, not even a 50-50, I think it was a 60-40%, but players didn't really like the characters as they thought the characters weren't developed well. So what I mean by characters weren't well developed, I mean people absolutely didn't like how the characters were written and they thought they were kind of bland. For an example, Kinich, he was an okay character, but people just...
No, I mean Kinich was so out of place, Chad. I think most of the character design in Natlan, they tried to be like ZZZ, you know? Like, I see ZZZ characters and I see Natlan, I'm like, wait, are they the same game? Like, it doesn't feel like a Genshin fantasy style characters.
Thought he was more of a basic character and didn't have much personality to him, and thought they could have added a little bit more character depth to him. They compared him to Sasuke and stuff, and they just didn't like how boring he was. And I guess this could really be subjective, as a lot of players really did like Kinich and thought he was well written, so this is kind of a 50-50. But I think since there was already ongoing hate for Natlan, people just hated the characters even more because of the fact that they were a part of the region. But there were also characters that people overall just disliked a good majority of the fandom, even people who even liked Natlan just didn't like. And for an example, people didn't like Ororon. Now, Ororon was an interesting character to me, as
wait, people hate Ororon? I feel like Ororon was one of the most hype character, no? Although, Chad, I would be honest, his combat is trash, bro. Like, what the hell? You went, you float midair and you can't even shoot, like, downwards.
people first saw him, they were severely disappointed with his design. And if you haven't seen the memes, people really compared him to someone that shops at Hot Topic for a living and lives in Hot Topic, and his whole fit is Hot Topic, mainly because of the ripped skinny jeans and his overall outfit. And people also compared him to their old gacha designs with the different colored eyes and stuff. So players didn't really have much favor for his design at all. And absolutely now, players did like his personality, as they were expecting one thing. They were expecting him to be mean, but he was actually really sweet. So I guess that kind of made people like him. But overall, the design was, I think, when characters are disliked in a region, it just, you know, kind of makes the whole region crash.
Wait, people like his personality? Bro, I feel like his personality is so basic. He's just your typical nice guy. There's nothing interesting about him.
Because if you don't like the characters that you're seeing on screen and the characters that you're supposed to be around for like the entire story or for the entire region, you're just gonna dislike the region. Now, I'll also be talking about Citlali, which is an interesting character.
Okay, Citlali is actually very cool.
When Citlali first dropped, players really liked her. I mean, her design was cool,
I love her.
Her personality was cool, but players found out that it took a sudden turn. And what I mean by sudden turn is people thought she was turned into bait. Players thought her whole personality changed. Citlali was this mean granny, and players really liked that aspect about her, and that she wasn't like all nice to the traveler. But of course it switched up, and she was more nicer to the traveler, and players didn't really like how she turned so sweet. They were expecting her to be like a mean granny and to act like her age, I guess, since she is around 500 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she is an older character, and players...
Okay, chat. After listening to this, I just find Genshin communities to be super weird. What? You prefer to have a mean granny? How does that make sense? I prefer to have like a nice granny, you know?
Expecting her to have more wisdom instead of being more of like a shy anime girl to some people. So let's talk about one of the most crucial people of an entire region.
The tsundere part was kind of nice.
Now, Moika had a really bad startup. I mean, players didn't like her design at all. And her design, when players pointed out, she has a zipper that goes all the way to the back of her body.
Okay, to be fair, I know that doesn't make sense. Her zipper don't make sense, but chat, you know me, chat. I love it. For real though, I mean, I'm into that. You know what I mean? But I understand it is weird. It doesn't make sense, but I mean, you know, me personally, hey, I'm into that, man.
And players were really uncomfortable just thinking about how the design would actually work. The fact that she had a whole bodysuit or tracksuit that zipped all the way under. Players really didn't like that.
I mean, to be fair, there are bodysuits that does that. You know, like if you guys see some bodysuits, it actually zips all the way like that. And here's the thing, chat. Mavica is a Gunner bait character. You know, like that's what she is. Most of these characters are like Gunner bait, unfortunately. So like they are trying to be Gunner bait by having that zipper thing.
At all. Now, each of the Archons is one of the most favorited people of their entire region. Whenever an Archon drops, Genshin sales just absolutely rise, and everyone pulls for an Archon. But this Archon had one of the worst banner sales in terms of Archons in a while. Of course, she was a really overpowered unit, but she wasn't, you know, likable to people. Now, people just thought she was just a boring Archon and she didn't have much character depth like the rest of the Archons. But what I will say is that she was one of the first Archons to introduce herself to us without any trouble. So, gotta give her a round of applause for that. Now, the region itself actually built up a lot of disappointment, as players didn't really like exploring Natlan as much as the other regions. Now, part of the main reason why is Natlan felt out of place to people. And I will be going back to this point later, so stay tuned. But mainly, players didn't really like the architecture and overall feel of Natlan.
I agree. Yeah, I think the architecture for like a war type of region feels so lacking, bro. Like, you know, you're expecting a bit more darker tone, eerie region for this, because they are advertised as a region where war takes place. You know, they focus more like gladiators and all of the war thingy. But you guys can see, like, compare this to Wuthering Waves Septimon. Septimon is what this place should have been, chat.
It felt as if they could have taken a lot more from the culture that Natlan was actually based off of. They could have added a lot more buildings to Natlan to make it more visually appealing, and players felt like the most big building was a stadium, and there wasn't much like, you know, design added to Natlan. People liked the different tribes, but it wasn't enough to players. So the overall design of Natlan had players severely disappointed, but mainly the exploration.
Yeah, I mean, chat, I think the first introduction to Natlan was people dancing. I'm like, what part of Nation of War is this?
Is what people got really. Now, the exploration in Natlan is one of the most prominent issues that I've seen. So people felt as if you had to pull for Natlan characters due to the power of the Night Soul Blessing. Now,
Okay, to be fair, this is just Genshin Impact being greedy Genshin Impact. Okay, this is just a Hoyoverse tactic at this point, bro. They are like locking a quality of life behind a $2,000 character. This is stupid. They could have just done this for free and let people, you know, be able to fly or to run faster. But no, they have to like lock this behind a character that you have to fucking pay. So like for example, Mavuika is a great character, you know, because Mavuika literally solved the exploration issue because you can fly with her, you can go faster with her, right? But if you also unlock her C6, that makes her like infinitely more enjoyable because now you can fly infinitely, I think, which is crazy. Like they are locking those quality of life behind a paywall. Essentially, you are paying to enjoy, like you are paying to enjoy the game.
of course, Night Soul Blessing makes exploration 10 times easier. I mean, you have Shilonen riding
Yeah, and
walls,
Wu literally
Kenny
just give
swinging
flight
through
to
the
everyone.
open air with
For free.
a how, and you have Mulan surfing waves and stuff, and people really felt as if you would have had to pull for these Natlan characters to make your exploration game 10 times easier. Now, of course, they gave out a free character, which was Kachina, but again, it wasn't as fast as the rest.
Bro, Kachina is shit. Look, as much as I love her gimmick, she is trash, bro.
The characters, and players really dislike the dependency that you would have to pull for the Natlan characters to make your experience overall better. And this wasn't strictly to Natlan, as a Spiral Abyss, it catered a lot to the Night Soul Blessing, and players really hated this, and they can't wait until the region is over so they can get rid of the whole Night Soul Blessing dependency. And this is even prominent in events, and I think the most latest event right now has a good amount of Night Soul Blessing reliance on it, and players just don't like the fact that there's so much Night Soul Blessing.
I mean, here's the thing, chat. The Night Soul Blessing in Genshin Impact is a problem that Hoyoverse introduced for us to want to pull for the characters that you know depend on this Night Soul thing. So they create a problem and they try to sell a solution, which is very greedy of them.
Dependency in this game right now, and they just wish the game would break apart from it and go back to mainly catering to different elements instead of the Night Soul Blessing itself. So this region, it's already just it's cooked already. I mean, players just hated it for all the different reasons that I mentioned. But that's not only it, and I'll be getting into my next point now. Now let's talk about the story. Now, the story is one of the main things that carries the region itself on its back, and when the story isn't good, players will absolutely dislike it.
That is true.
And the biggest issue...
I mean, I feel, chat, the story was okay. It wasn't that revolutionary like Fontaine story, but it was okay overall. You know, it wasn't that bad in my opinion. And I think like the cool cutscene sort of you know helps with that.
That I
in my opinion,
it didn't
chat.
feel like the Nation of War. Now, let me break this down a little. Now, before we get into it, if you haven't completed the Natlan story, I'm going to be talking a little bit about it, so you might want to skip this part or play it and then come back.
The power creep also got bad, like Rain Shogun can't even clear Abyss. Wait, Rain Shogun can't even clear Abyss? Is that bad? Holy!
Yeah, I mean come back. Anyways, we're going to be talking about it, so again, if you haven't finished it, then skip to this part. Now, the reason why people didn't feel like it was a Nation of War is because the fact that it was only against the Abyss had people a little bit mad and a little disappointed. They wished that Natlan would have had a little bit more creativity to it.
Okay, to be fair, Chad, this looks pretty cool. I like you know, like all this army going out of this portal looks cool. But my biggest issue, Chad, once this all ends, there's nothing changes. They're all the same. You guys don't see like a clear effect of the aftermath of war. It just be like, oh, whoop-de-doo, nothing happened, everything is fine, haha, we're back to, you know, our Natlan Pokemon theme. That, like, what?
We're suggesting that the tribes could have been against each other along with the threat of the Abyss and make them all come together and fight against the Abyss, or have some discourse among the tribes and have the tribes fight against each other to have some type of war going on, like internally, instead of like having a conflict with, you know, a bigger force like the Abyss, or just something different in general. The fact that it was only the Abyss, they knew the issue would be resolved quickly and it didn't really have that much of an emotional factor to it. Now, I didn't see specifically what people really disliked about the whole fact that it didn't feel like the Nation of War, but I'm going to be breaking down a part of the reason why it kind of flopped to people. So,
I mean, to be fair, one of the biggest reasons is it's a Pokemon area, bro. Okay, it's an area just filled with Pokemons, which is not what we expect from a Nation of War.
Are going to the whiteboard. Okay. Now, a part of the reason why Natlan did so bad is because they didn't have a good emotional factor to it. Now, since it was a nation of war, of course, during war, there's a lot of lives that are unfortunately being removed from this world, and that's exactly what Natlan did, but the way they did it wasn't that good, and the reason why I think players didn't really feel emotionally sad by it, people didn't feel sad about it is because of how they used the emotional factor wrong. So let's talk about it. To get people from, you know, happy to sad, you would need to get rid of some characters that people really connected to or had a sad backstory to. And since Nation...
Like Furina, I think Furina is a good example of it, right chat? Like we know Furina, we know about her Archon story, and then she dies. That's sad because that's the character that we know and we're close with. If random people die, it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really matter as much. It's not gonna be that emotional to us. I think they tried to do that with Chuikyu, Cheska's sister, but because of how bad the lip syncing, the expression, it doesn't feel that much sad at least in my eyes, chat.
The Nation of War got rid of a lot of random NPCs that we didn't meet. Players didn't really feel an emotional connection to them and felt as if they were really relevant. Now, of course, this happens with war. There's going to be people...
Oh man, Prolova, what happened to Prolova made me depressed, bro. It actually one of the most depressing thing. Like, I love the story, by the way, just so you know, but it made me depressed.
That you didn't know passing away, and of course, you would feel sympathy for them, but since this is a game, players didn't really feel that. Now, of course, they got rid of important characters like Koichi, but players didn't really like her at all, so it was kind of not that sad.
I mean,
but what
Koichi was cool.
But what Natlan did do right is they hurt an animal, and when you hurt an animal, people get sad. Now, what Fontaine that Natlan didn't do is have a good emotional factor. Now, with Furina's story, of course, players really disliked her when she first came out. They thought she was bratty, they thought she was annoying, and players just really disliked her. And then we got to know her backstory and her whole plan with Focalors.
Oh yeah, I agree. Furina was annoying, right?
Her backstory was so sad, and they used the emotional factor correctly. And since Natlan got rid of a lot of random NPCs, people didn't really like that, and that was a big issue, causing the nation to go poof, and player in the story just kinda did not that good. Now, of course, when we got to the end of the story, fighting against the Abyss monster, it was really cool, but there was some scenes that players really cringed about, even myself.
The power of
people were just
friendship,
expecting
chat.
a sad ending for the Nation of War. I mean, I expected this region to have a really sad ending compared to the rest of the regions, but it felt more like a happy ending. Besides Capitano dying, which that is an issue itself that I won't even be getting into because that'll be fully biased. I'm not even glad you.
I mean, Capitano dying was kind of sad, but it's like, it's still, I don't know, I feel like the impact isn't as impactful as Furina dying. I liked her, yeah, that shit hurt, yeah, I agree, bro. I also like Prolova, not as a waifu, just as a character. I think she's like pretty cool. But yeah, bro, when I see that Rover's sword is 3 Prolovas deep, it's crazy, dude. I became so depressed with that. Nordcry's story is 8 hours long. Are you serious? That's hella long. I mean, here's the thing, Zekid. Sure, Persona story is long, but Persona story is long and it's enjoyable, you know. Whereas I'm assuming here, chat, you know, based on my experience with Genshin Impact, Nordcry's story is long, 8 hours long, but 7 hours of that is Paimon yapping, okay, and 1 hour of actual proper story is what I'm assuming.
Guys. Now let's talk about one of the most main issues of Natlan, which is the modernization of Genshin Impact. Now this is a really interesting thing to me.
Like why are they trying to make Genshin Impact like ZZZ? They should just stick to their, you know, fantasy style games.
Players felt as if Natlan was just too modern. I mean, there was a lot of odd things to people. I mean, including Mavuika's motorcycle, the whole spray paint, and the whole graffiti.
Yeah, the motorcycle is so weird, dude.
Graffiti and how long that takes to actually develop, and players just felt as if Natlan was just completely out of place, as well as the whole color scheme of Natlan. It just felt so off to people, and you know, it just added on to the hate, and it didn't feel like a fantasy game to people, and this was a huge problem. What I did notice that actually played a crucial and vital part is the voice acting. Now this mainly caters to US-based players since they listen to the game in English. Now, considering the fact that there's a VA strike,
even Japanese voice acting feels a bit off, chat.
Going on right now, voice acting strike, A lot of the characters
Oh,
are muted
yeah, the
and just
strike, the
non-verbal right
bullshit
now, so they
strike.
can't really, they don't have a voice actor for those characters, and they aren't going to replace them. So the entire Natlan story quest, it just had players talking like.
Yeah, that's so awkward, dude. That's why I just enjoy Genshin in Japanese, except Wuwa, chat. In Wuwa, I enjoy English way more than other
When
language.
players don't have voice acting, the story kind of gets boring to them, and this actually plays a really huge part since voice acting is very crucial in games. I mean,
For sure.
we can compare it again. I'm sorry, I'm comparing a lot to Fontaine, but voice acting in Fontaine was phenomenal and just elevated the story a lot. And when
I
people
agree.
hear that voice acting, they get really hooked into the story.
Is this what justice means to you? Answer me, Nubilet!
And
Okay, to
since-
be fair, that lip syncing was kind of stupid as well, but at least the emotion is there, right? Emo, I don't blame Hoyoverse regarding the strike. I just wish they acted sooner. Yeah, I agree.
it created a lot of hatred for Natlan, and players, well, not really hatred, it just people didn't like the story as much and weren't immersed into the story, which is a direct cause to people hating Natlan. And different factors like that, it just kind of adds on to the fact that people didn't like the region. Now for the most dreaded part of the video, my opinion. Now, to me, Natlan wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but I still didn't like it as much as I did with the other regions.
I agree,
Now,
yeah.
a part of the main reason why I didn't really like Natlan as much is
I think for me, chat, I love Liwei. I think Liwei has a special heart, a special love there. For me, at least.
because of the story. Now, I'm a big story guy. I
Other than
absolutely
that, Fontaine Space is pretty cool as well.
love the lore of Genshin Impact, and I felt as if Natlan's lore, it didn't really deliver as much as I thought.
Yeah,
it would.
Liwei's
It just-
music
something
is
felt really
goated.
off to me with the story, and I wasn't as immersed into the story as I hoped I would be, and I just wish that Natlan had a little bit more. I wish it would have had a lot more build up to the war and just made it a little bit
Natlan
more
feels
sadder
like
to me,
a
so I could
region
be really
catered to
immersed.
kids,
The final
yeah.
battle, it didn't
I
really.
I think that's the only reason that I could think of. You know, like it's literally just a region catered to little childrens.
Feel as cool to me, and I was kind of disappointed in that aspect. Now, Spiral Abyss with the Knights of Blessing, yeah, that really annoyed me. I mean, I pull for Natlan characters, but man, that really annoyed me. Since
Yeah,
I don't
Knight's
even
Soul
be
is
building
ass.
characters,
It's
I keep
the
them to
most
like level
annoying
80
part
and
of
I throw them in the
Natlan.
bin. I just use my main characters. I just use my mains and I just throw the rest of the characters I pull in a bin. Anyways, that might be a separate issue and a skill issue for me. Now, what I will say is that I really liked Natlan's music. I felt as the whole ambience.
Oh, I
of
agree.
the
I think
region was really
Genshin
nice, and I
music
really
never
enjoyed that
missed,
part.
chat.
And
Like,
there was a lot
that
of things
one
I
is
really
100%
liked about
facts.
Natlan. I mean, the characters were pretty all
Genshin
right.
music
I
is stupid.
really wish I would have enjoyed them as much as I did with other characters. But what I'm most interested in is hearing your opinion and what you
Natlan is
thought of
Disneyland,
Natlan as a
exactly.
whole. And if I missed any of the reasons why Natlan got so much hate, please let me know in the comments.
Yep, same here, chat. As usual, chat. Let me know what you guys think about Natlan region in the comment section. You guys like it? You guys dislike it? And yeah, give us the reason why. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye bye. And also, yeah, I'm gonna give this guy also a like and also subscribe. Yeah, that was a phenomenal video, bro. Holy crap. But yeah, anyway, chat. Bye.